waking up. Let's find some bones in my kitchen. Ooh, a donut. Hey, welcome back to another devlog, and last time we covered the start of my horror game, and this game is about a quirky clown who's actually your girlfriend, and you, a drunk boyfriend, you're stumbling around inside of a house trying to find your keys as you try to escape because she's locked you indoors. This devlog is packed with content, including the forbidden donut. Watch until the end to discover my secret Easter egg. You don't want to miss this. No, seriously, if you miss it, the clown might get upset, and trust me, you don't want an upset clown. By popular comment, the Clown Tale by Mimeo City is leading as the new game name. I love it, but I'm keeping the vote open for a bit longer, so make sure you comment below if you have other name ideas. Devlog. Oh wait, were we supposed to say that? So over the past 2 weeks, on top of making this last tutorial video, I've been working on the game, and well, it's been kind of slow and some of it kind of fast. I put this clown in the chair, because clowns in chairs are just creepy, especially when they sit in the dark, silently twitching. Trust me, you wouldn't want to be alone with a clown in a room, or would you? Another important note is that lately I've been thinking of just removing your flashlight. You see, you can see just about anything you want to look at, and the thought of wandering around with only lights in the game just makes this game really appealing to me. Just let me know what you think down below as well. I began designing a lamp. The reference was from ChatGPT, so it was a bit quirky. Torus here, block there, and then I had something resembling a lamp, I think. Or maybe it's a modern art piece. You can decide that. The only complaint I have about this lamp though is that I thought that by creating this lamp I wouldn't really have any problems, but actually there's some weird reflections here on the walls. So I might need to come back later to increase its roughness so it doesn't do that anymore. And well, all developers, they have these things in their code called bugs. And well, I have found my first one, and ultimately it'll make me delay removing the flashlight. And when you look at the clown in the living room after picking up these 2 bones here, the heartbeat doesn't actually play. And it's just the clown, and he just like poof. He's gone. So yeah, that's gonna need tweaked. But since I don't feel like working on that right now, I just kind of threw it in this Kanban board, and which I guess I'll just use it for this bug and like nothing else. Then I found this asset pack online with some props, and well, I placed these into the game as well. Except I had one problem. Come to find out, creating collision layers for the assets is also difficult, because when you create the collision with the assets, the character ends up getting stuck to them, kind of like glue, and then nothing happens until I step away from them. But I didn't feel like taking care of the collision layer, so I just left it as is, and it looked pretty good. So now I had some cabinets, and I wanted to add something to the empty shelves around the house, so I added this picture. And it's not of a clown, but I feel like it added some atmosphere, and maybe it can contribute towards some lore, who knows. The image itself is pretty creepy, but yet a small detail for those who like to look around a little bit more. And then, I don't know what got a hold of me, but I got very inspired to create a fridge. So I did that right here in the corner, because kitchen equals fridge, and fridge equals food. That's very simple. I mean, just look at that fridge. It looks so rateable. So I made a kitchen island. It's simple, but it does the job. And it's a horror game. What would be better than to put a random pot of maggots into my game? Because I had an FLB file for the maggots, and so I'm just gonna use it. Bon appetit, anyone? The kitchen didn't have its own floor, so let's go ahead and make one for it. And then, I wanted to take a break from some modeling, so I decided to work on that first room with the 3 lights and a clown. The primary tweak here is that if I'm removing the flashlight, then I'll also need a light to show the door at the end of the hallway. So I added a light and a click with some adjustments to the player. It was also around this time that I realized that what animation players in Godot are actually capable of. Turns out, you can just call functions from your code in the animation player, which is huge. This will end up becoming a way that I shortcut some of the development and trade some code for in-editor editing of those events with animation players. So I modified the fireplace with some textures to include some bricks. So originally I wanted to do a cartoon-styled texture in the kitchen, and well, it turned out pretty good. So I tried to do a cartoon-styled texture for the fireplace too, but it didn't really look that good. So I went online, like a totally original human, and I grabbed some bricks. Now, please don't throw bricks at me for doing this. Now, that fireplace looks really cozy, and it might not match exactly, but it's something. And so I ended up making this guy who's like hanging from the post off screen. This is the same clown from earlier, but then when I realized my OBS was turned off, I just turned it on and started recording this part, so basically you missed nothing. And at this point, I was starting to lose touch with the game. I found myself just casually wanting to run around and not do anything with code inside of it. So to offset that, I ended up doing some more modeling, because that was new and I was excited to work with Blender. So let's try to get better at Blender. Blender. Oh boy. And did you know beginners like me are terribly bad at Blender? This time, I make a plate. Squish a little cylinder down, extrude some things, move some things around, and boom, plate, food. There's a fridge. I also redid some bookshelves, which were placed around. I might have forgot to record that too. And now we have this clown, and he's in the room that you walk into at the end, and he's hanging from the post. So here's what I'm thinking here. Basically, you walk in, the clown is at the post, and then you walk towards him out of curiosity and jump scare. End of game. So yeah, again, back to modeling. So I decided to make a vacuum cleaner because that's the most important thing that runs around in my mind on things to do that day. So it's a really bad vacuum cleaner, and maybe it can come alive or something if you guys decide. But yeah, so vacuum cleaners, well, there was kind of a lot of carpet anyway, so let's make some rugs. And let's go ahead and place those around the island. And since I was already off track and, not being focused on the game, I ended up learning how to sculpt in Blender, and so I made this head. And then I made this little farmer guy, but then his hand, whoops. Yeah, come to find out, rigging and weight painting on your own is incredibly difficult. Luckily, I just abandoned that. Finally, I came back around for some more touching on the room. I painted a few more creepy pictures, and then I hung them on the wall. And it was at this point, I'm about ready to start preparing for this next devlog, and then I decided, let's add some lore. And what's a better lore than adding donuts? So I found this donut, and I swear it, I was so entertained. So let's add some stuff to the counter. I make a fruit bowl, place some plates next to it, and then I decide, with a bunch of fruit, the donut must be a lie. The donut is a lie. The donut is a lie. Wait, the donut is alive? Now the donut activates a secret forbidden mode, and occasionally you will hear the ghost screams. Yeah, I wrote some code and it was alive. This new forbidden mode, with 0 other changes, adds a whole different feel to the entire game. It's just creepier and it sends shivers up your spine. And just with the red lights alone, that was quite a bit. So I'm thinking of also possibly extending some of the gameplay into a more darker storyline if you pick up the donut, but on the surface, this donut will just seem like a regular item you can just pick up, and for the lucky few that do decide to eat this donut, they will experience horror like never before, as well as the secret ending. But I won't spoil that for you because it doesn't exist yet. So I'll let you decide down below when you subscribe and comment for what to do for the secret ending. Make sure to comment, the donut is a lie, if you made it here to the end, and subscribe if you haven't already, because there are more on this to come. And anyone who comments this is now my favorite people ever, because you're the reason why I keep developing this game. And also be sure to join the Discord community. If you haven't, we've got a community of people who are going on and discussing the potential of a coffee jam, our very own game jam. And I'll catch you all later. Let's get some donuts and coffee.